Y'all gonna have to forgive the ring bell.
What is that?
That's when you come if somebody in my area of the door,
Oh, okay,
and I don't
okay.
know how to cut it off. So
Shayla, they said something about it looks like your guest stream was deleted on YouTube. We informed them so they can fix it. Plates of Shay.
she can't hear you.
Let's talk about that another time.
Well, no, this.
No, I can hear. I can
Okay.
hear. It's all
All
right.
right then. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Good evening.
I would like to welcome my panel. Well, let me introduce myself first.
Please
I'm
do.
Miss Golden Girl, and today I'm celebrating friendship. And I have 3 of my friends with me that are supporting me this evening at this special moment of mine. And I have among them Margaret. Margaret and I have been friends for 65 years. We
Wow.
met in kindergarten. Linda and I have been friends Margaret and I have been friends for 65 plus years.
Okay.
Linda and I have been friends for 44 plus years. We met in 1978 when our daughters were babies. Ricardo and I have been friends for 37 plus years. At one time, Ricardo and I dated,
Wow.
but now we have evolved into a beautiful friendship.
She just had to put that out there, didn't she? I tell you.
Well, you know,
She didn't
Ricardo,
say that in the practice run, did she?
Not
No,
at all.
she didn't.
Okay.
You didn't notice that.
Forgot about
Thank you,
that. I forgot about that.
but I mean, this is to show that how friendship can evolve, you know.
Listen, it's no problem. I couldn't resist the temptation to tease you about it, though. I was like, you had to throw that out there.
Hey, I want the audience to know that I am a well-rounded friend. You know, when things change, I don't no longer want to throw you out what they say with the dishwater, you know. I
Right.
still say we can be friends.
Which really says a whole lot about friendship.
Yes.
It don't have to just be on one level. That's the evolving.
Yes.
Sometimes it don't go that way, Ricardo.
True.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to turn it over to my friend Margaret, and she's going to discuss evolving friendship. You go right ahead, Margaret.
Well, as my good friend, childhood friend, has mentioned, we've been friends since I was 5 years old and she was 6 years old. And given the fact that I'm getting ready to turn 71, that would make it be almost 66 years. And we met when we were in elementary school. And we both, well, Nita, were you born in Pontiac?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
St. Joseph Hospital.
Okay, so we were both born in Pontiac. So that means our friendship has went from elementary, then we had junior high. It wasn't called middle school. That was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And then we had high school from 10th to the 12th. We went to the same schools, starting with Whittier, Jefferson, and then Pontiac Central. And guess what? Then we came to college together.
Yeah.
We came together to Michigan State University.
Very good.
And we were roommates.
Wow.
I mean, we end up being late registration for
Yes.
MSU. We end up being in the same room, dorm room, Holden Hall. And then since then, we kind of we lived on and off when we went off campus. And then she stayed in stayed in Lansing. And we had a friendship there. And then she went to California. And probably then was maybe a turning point in terms of relationships. Or we had relationship changes before then. Because high school, we were dealing with different people then. But we still been maintaining all these years.
Mhm.
And most recently, we were trying to plan a class reunion, but then we got the pandemic. But we have evolved. We both got gray hair.
That's for sure.
Our kids somewhat grew up together until they went different ways. But yeah, God is good.
Yes, yes, he certainly
It certainly
is.
is.
Certainly is. And I would just like to add to what you said, Margaret. I don't know if it was clear enough. When we graduated college, we roomed together for about 6 months.
That's yes. And then we realized, okay, well, I had a boyfriend. I think you had a boyfriend. And then it's like, I think we need to have our own place.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Boyfriend ended up being the one that I'm married to, Milton. So go figure.
Very good. Very
And
good.
I'm trying to think, you stayed in the apartment that we were in, right? You were in
Yeah,
Milton?
but Melita grew up there in that apartment. We moved over here where I'm at. I think she was 7 years old. No,
Okay.
maybe about 7 years old, because I have Marcus over here where I live now. So, yep.
And help me remember, it was off of across from Myers there.
Edgewood Boulevard, 543. Building
Oh,
543.
okay. Now, see, that's something I don't remember. Margaret remembers that.
Wow. Very good.
But
And
Anita's the one that found the place. Very, very state of the art place then.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it's not that way now, but it was a very state of the art place. She found it. I mean, she was really nice. I mean, she should have just took the large room, but we had to flip the coin on who got the larger room with the walk-in closet. And she was so gracious. And she's the one that really found it. She probably should have called Rachel, excuse me, but I'm the one that found this, and I'm gonna have this room. But it was what it was.
And at that time, out at that area, it wasn't real built up, but
No.
it was a very nice apartment because we both was moving out of Michigan State.
And I was in Spartan Village, and you were in the other one.
Not Cherry Lane, University Village.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay.
And so, we had those white porcelain type cabinets and everything there.
But it worked. It was cheaper.
Yes, everything was included. And then we moved into this apartment, and the apartment had a fireplace.
Mhm.
It had a balcony.
Yes.
And did we have a swimming pool?
It was an area back there. We had a clubhouse with a swimming pool.
Okay, yeah.
I never went back there and swim, but yeah, they did have that.
How about
Yeah, so we felt like, whoa, what did Jefferson say? Move it on up.
Yep. We did move up in terms of where we were living before, although it was all right on campus. It got us out of school, and it was reasonable.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
very
then
reasonable.
But then we
Everything was
started working with
included.
the state. Were you with the state yet, or you were with the county?
I was with the county because remember when Arthur Andrew came over and he brought the application for me?
Mhm.
Okay, that's how you got hooked up with the state after that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Margaret was already with the state of Michigan. She was on the legislative side then, weren't you?
Yep, I always work with the Michigan House of Reps.
Okay, and so when I graduated, I started working out in Ingham County at the comptroller's house, at the comptroller's office in Mason, Michigan. And so that's another story in itself. So I'm gonna quickly move on, but just to give an idea of friendship. See, Margaret was friends with Arthur Andrew, and Arthur worked for civil service.
Okay.
And so, Margaret gives him the history. He knows my background was in accounting, my degree, I graduated in accounting, and they were looking for some auditors. So this is just how friendship, you support each other. You know, she shared my information. He knew my history.
And he
so
had status too. He had a little bit more. He was with Civil Service Office, right?
Right. And he had been there for a while, hadn't he?
Right. So he could make a difference. I mean, he had some influence in terms of, hey, I got a person, blah, blah, blah. That's when people looked out for each other, though.
Absolutely.
Black folks, at least, especially Black folks.
Yeah. Hello, Embarker Nation. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, that was great. That was my beginning. I submitted the application and I got on the register with just education and experience because that's all was needed for that class, an auditor trainee. And so then I ended up getting hired by the Michigan Department of Transportation, which was the Michigan Highway Department. Okay. So I am forever grateful to my friend, Margaret's friend, Arthur Andrews. Hey, this year, it was 20 years that I have drawn my pension check from the state of Michigan.
All right now. Wow.
I retired January 1st, 2003, and got the first check March 25th, 2003.
Very good.
Okay. And before I move on from Margaret, I want to share another way Margaret helped me. And this is what friendship is about: support, caring. When I moved to California, you know, we only talked every so often, but it's always whenever I needed, or, you know, we got back together, we just picked up where we left off. So I moved to California without a job. I had some savings. I had my deferred comp. I moved back from California without a job. And so Margaret had told me that her brother Hubert, Representative Hubert Price, he was looking for a staff person. And Margaret knew I didn't really like the political side.
Right.
But evolving, I was in a position where I was willing to try that. And so I went to work. I got hired by her brother, who he represented. This is just amazing. He represented Pontiac, our district that we grew up in.
Right.
And so he was the representative for Pontiac. Margaret, you remember the district number? I can't remember right. 43, was it? Was it 43 before they changed it?
I don't know. No, I don't remember that part.
Okay. And so then I got hired by Representative Hubert Price Jr. And so I was his staff person. He was a term limit. And so I got hired December 1999. I moved back from California. And then I worked for him 2000. Then he was term limit in the election. So my girlfriend, she helped me get a job when I got, 2 jobs, I guess, right?
It almost sounds like you actually owe her some money.
That's what friends are made for.
All right now.
But what was interesting, what Anita's not saying, because she couldn't understand. I worked in the political environment, and she kind of came off like, oh, politics. And I said to Anita, Anita, politics is in church, okay? Politics is all around you. But she couldn't, but whatever. She didn't like the politics, so, okay. But it worked out fine, didn't it?
It did. It was quite an experience, and I'm forever grateful that, my friend was looking out for me, and it was something working for her brother. Because, we've been friends, he's been her big brother and everything. So now he's my boss.
I think he treated you with the utmost respect.
Oh,
And
he did. He
nothing,
did.
our friendship didn't get in the way in terms of y'all working. So
No, it didn't. It didn't. And then, you know, I worked with him, and, you know, I came into the job with, well, I'm just gonna say it. You know, I was overqualified for that position, but I needed a job.
Right.
And it was a good experience. I had been on the civil service side, and now I was on the legislative side, where you are at will employee.
Mhm.
no
So
protection.
I brought all my experience from being on the civil service side to that position. So it was quite an experience that I will remember forever, you know.
And you were able to navigate the system because you did know how to go to the different departments to get the information.
Exactly. I had that civil service experience and everything.
And you had number experience too, so I'm sure he needed that help sometimes. So
and I probably would not have taken the job if he didn't serve on the appropriation committee. So, you know, that utilized, you know, my budget experience, my accounting experience. So, all right, then. Now we're going to move on to the next panelist.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was it?
I think I'm going to go next.
Oh, okay.
If that's okay with Linda. Is that okay? Hello, everyone. My name is Ricardo Glover. I live in Decatur, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta. And when Anita invited me to be part of the panel, I must admit I did some soul searching in terms of friendship and just thinking about friends just in general. And now that I am, quote unquote, a senior citizen, I'm not going to tell you how old I am. When I look back, you know, matter of fact, even as I sit here and I'm listening to Anita, to this day, my best friends are still the people that I've known most of my life. And those primarily are people from Lansing, Michigan. I can think of a number of people. Like, for instance, my best friend to this day is still Byron Carter. Like some of you may know Byron Carter. I talk to him on a regular basis. We went to junior high school together, and high school and college. We went to Michigan State together. And so I can call, what I really like about a relationship that dates back that far, and even as I listened to both Anita and Margaret earlier, I mean, I can call Byron right now, and maybe we haven't talked in 3 or 4 months, and it sounds like we just pick up right where from the last conversation. We don't miss a beat. I really enjoy that, you know, you can just talk about anything and everything. There's just a level of comfort that
Yes.
you have from knowing someone for such a long period of time, right? And then I want to compare that to like where I'm at now. I live in a large metropolitan area. You know, Decatur is just outside of Atlanta, but I mean, there's several million people here, and I have friends here, but it's just not the same as compared to my friends from back home. It just isn't, you know. It's a much more transient environment where people are coming and going, and you know, people are so busy between work and traffic and all the things that you have to do day to day. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be the same in terms of some of the people that I meet, you know, here, which is unfortunate. And by the way, let me admit I'm part of the problem because I've worked a lot too. By the way, right? I've worked a lot of hours since I've been here, so I haven't always been available to really spend a lot of time trying to develop, you know, friendships. But one thing I wanted to do with the panel is I might maybe even ask a couple of questions. I want to ask the following question. Now that we are a little older, in light of what I just said, how do you develop additional friends? Do you all find that to be something that you're reasonably comfortable with, or are you pretty much done with that? You're pretty much set on having really good friends. I'm just kind of curious.
I'll jump in if
Okay.
somebody else not ready to jump in.
Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
fine. Go ahead.
Well, one thing that's been helping me, I am part of a sorority,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't active while I was working, but now I've got financial again. So now I don't know if you want to call it friendships, but I'm developing relationships that I didn't have before.
Right. Right.
So that for me has been an opportunity. But other than that, it's not like I'm stepping out my box
Yeah.
to sometimes I don't think you can just do what you used to do in terms of a friendship.
Exactly. Yeah, I follow what you're saying. And Margaret, to me, you bring up a very good point, and that's one I was going to mention to the group. That one thing that I'm starting to do, which has really helped me, is if you join an organization where there's common interests, like what Margaret just mentioned. The organization that comes to mind for me is the church I belong to, right? So it's a place of common interest. It's a place I go to on a regular basis, and I'm starting to see the same people over and over again. So I'm starting to develop some new friendships, in terms of that. And I have a level of comfort, you know what I'm saying? And think about it, you guys. You can't develop a friendship with somebody unless you see them on a regular basis, right? you know?
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
you
true.
got to be able to see each other on a regular basis, right? So obviously, like when you go to your sorority meeting, or if I go to church, that kind of a thing. That's an environment where you can, start to meet some new people, and hopefully, grow some new relationships. But that's all my comments really overall about friendships, and also I want to add one last thing, and that is, um, everybody can't be your friend. By the way, not everybody, right?
That's
So
true. That's
you
true.
have to have to me, a true friend is someone that you can truly confide in, that you have a high level of respect for. Hopefully, it's someone that you feel like can give you some advice, and hopefully some godly advice, right? And everybody is not going to be able to do that for you, right? So I've had to learn how to navigate that over the years. And now that I've gotten a little older and hopefully a little wiser, I think I'm now in a better position to be a good friend, as well. So that's it for me. And I'm really happy that you invited me to be on the panel, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
Uh, I'd like to just add, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that was something that I did want to touch on, Ricardo, is that, let me see, I see a comment here. Oh, welcome. Let me pronounce this right. Oh, there it is. It came up.
Jorge.
Jorge, yes.
Jorge. Oh, okay. Welcome. And so,
They're saluting us in another language, so don't ask me this.
He's just saying hello.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have made some new friends recently, and it is, like you were saying, Margaret and Ricardo, as we venture into new activities, I want to hide that. Then we have an opportunity to make new friends. For 2005 to 2015, I did my working vacations. And so I went to Alaska for so many years.
Oh, yeah.
And then I met a friend there, Shirley Riley, which we're still friends now. So that's a friendship that I established in 2005 when I did a working vacation in Ocean Reef Club in Key Largo, Florida. I bonded with two ladies, and so this is gonna, touch upon that friendship was for a season.
Okay.
And it was a season, I would say maybe about 5 years. We stayed connected to each other. Clemencia, she moved back to Costa Rica. So for a while, we kept a friendship. Clary, she was from Dominican Republic. And so we kept a friendship for about 5 years staying connected, but friendships are for seasons, and I've learned to accept my seasonal friendships and to accept my long-term friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I've noticed, that retirement has changed the dynamics of some friendships, because some of my friends, they have relocated and they have established, a new lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But, usually when I call up, that, we can connect. We can connect. So thank you, Ricardo, for bringing that up. Now I not sure yet. I said in a video I did earlier in the week, I'm going to the Y Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
So I had said friendship, but then yesterday when I was doing research, I think maybe right now they're really more acquaintances and they haven't really graduated to friendship yet. So
I do understand. Yeah.
well, Linda.
Save the best for last.
Absolutely. And you've been very quiet, so I'm looking forward to hearing you.
To your question, Ricardo, I have made so many friends, even to this day. I'm always meeting people. Now, whether they're a true friend like Anita, no, but they are acquaintances. They are, we build relationships, communication, but they're like a season.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm at now is I work at a middle school, and I have met so many teachers and other parents and other workers, and we've all become good friends. Like I said, but not like Anita and I. I met Anita in 1978, maybe the summer of 1978, when our daughters went to the same babysitter. And then Anita moved into the same apartment complex that I lived in. So one day, I think I was leaving and she was coming home, and I saw Anita and I saw Shayla, her oldest. And I looked at Anita and I said, I think we go to the same babysitter. And sure enough, we did, Mrs. Flowers.
Okay.
And I remembered Shayla because she was bald head.
Did you really put me out there like that? Out there like that.
But Shayla, look at you now. Look at your beautiful hair. But I told your mother, didn't I, that she's bald head, but she gonna have a head full of hair when she get older. And you have mounds of hair. Beautiful little girl. So Anita and I became friends from when I met her at that apartment building.
Okay.
She had just moved in. So we have been like sisters ever since. I am the godmother to her second son. So, we've been close. We've been through a lot.
My first son.
Her second child.
Okay.
First son, second child.
You don't want nobody be trying to figure no numbers or nothing. Start no rumors.
There's only three.
It is three of us. One girl, two boys. I am
one girl. One beautiful, long-haired
girl. You're trying to make up for it now, huh? Okay.
But it's the truth. I'm not lying. So our relationship, Anita and our relationship has really evolved, because we went from being parents, raising our children. Our boys are, my daughter and her daughter are close to the same age. I don't have her first son is older than my son, but her youngest son and my son are the same age. So we've been through a lot together. Yeah. Talking to each other, sharing, crying, trying to figure out kids. What are they doing? What's wrong with them? A lot. We traveled. She got me into traveling. I belong to quite a few organizations, so I'm never bored. I'm never bored. I'm always busy. And Anita has been a true friend. A true friend. I don't know what I would do without her.
All right. That's what it's all about. That's what it's
To
all
add
about.
with what Linda said about my baby girl, she was born with a head full of hair, but then her hair fell out. It was coming out as I shampooed it in the sink, which it was very good because Shayla was a preemie and they had shaved both sides of her head.
Mhm.
And so all the hair just came off. And she used to have two little strands that sort of stand up.
They
But
gonna put you out there, Shayla.
but it
That's
was
okay. That's
but
okay.
it was so funny, people wanted to touch my baby's head, like, don't be touching my baby's head. I don't know where your hands been,
Exactly. Wow.
But Shayla was a year old and it was on her birthday. I was giving her a birthday party. And all of a sudden, I was just used to just brushing and it just lay down. And then her hair wouldn't lay down. So it was such a shock. It's like, oh, my baby got some hair.
Okay.
But like Linda said, it grew in, it came back, and she had some nice, beautiful hair. But I want to say with Linda, like Linda said, we met in 1978 in the apartment complex.
Mhm.
But Linda came, like she came to California to see me when I moved to California. And not many people came to California to see me. So I appreciate that. And one thing I appreciate about my three friends here today, they have been with me when I have valleys, in the valley, and then come back to the mountaintop, gone through the valley again, but they've been there with me. And it's a joy, it's a blessing to have this kind of friendship. And like Ricardo said, Ricardo worked a lot. And so, you call him and he wouldn't return phone calls and stuff, but I never gave up. I keep calling him, like, okay, hey, all right, I'm going to keep calling. And finally, he would call back. I became friends with Ricardo's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is really something. Miss Bowman and I, we became very good friends.
Yeah.
Very good friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's his mother there. And when I would come into Georgia, they would come over and visit and see me. Ricardo was a caregiver for his mother, and I never forgot her. We met, we're attending the same church in Lansing, Union Baptist.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when Ricardo moved to Georgia, Mrs. Bowen was still working. I admire her so much. She had a plan. She's like me, or I was like her. She had a plan and she was working her plan. Mm-hmm. She was going to retire and move to Georgia, and she purchased her home while she was still working. Isn't that right, Ricardo?
That is correct. She went back to Lansing and worked for another year. Mm-hmm.
And so then when I relocated to Georgia to help my daughter with her daughter, Mrs. Bowen, I got there on a Sunday, and she let me know that I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, midweek service. She was inviting me to go to church. Now, being in Michigan, midweek service is nothing like in the South. I thought maybe it was some kind of revival or something. So, I said, okay, yeah. And we go, and it's just midweek service. It was midweek service on Wednesday. It was at the Ray of Hope.
Right.
So then I started, immediately within my first week there. Got there on a Sunday night. Wednesday, I'm at Ray of Hope. And that became the church that, I fellowship with and eventually joined. And that was Mrs. Bowen that called me up and invited me to come to a service with her. And I want to give another shout out to Mrs. Bowen. She was going to the Y in 2004 when I moved to Georgia. And so,
Wow, you do
I'm
have a good
saying,
memory.
wow. She going to the Y. A couple times she invited me to go to the Y with her, and she'd tell me all what she did, but I never joined her at the Y. But now I have a membership at the Y, utilizing my silver sneakers. One thing I have learned that as we age, we need the exercise. And Mrs. Bowen was smart enough to know that. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I just admire her for that. And I learned that from her. And this is what I'm trying to develop, is an audience here on YouTube that we can dialogue and talk about embracing our golden years and beyond, about aging, because I feel we are taught about puberty, but we are not taught about aging. And I'm developing this platform. I'm glad to have this platform where we can touch upon things that is important for us as we age. And friendship is real important. And to understand how it's evolving, because we could get depressed if you feel like maybe that person done left you, that friend done abandoned you. But now we can understand that friendships do evolve, and we
They
have
also
to.
say it's not good to be isolated as you get older.
Yes,
That it is good to have somebody, companionship and friendship. Really, to the extent that you can. I just know, like, I'm thinking about my mother. She was always with the younger people. I think that helped keep her vibrant.
Okay.
By interacting with people. I think that is important as we get older.
No question. Yeah.
And that you mentioned that, Margaret, it was really something that I had come back home to visit my dad a few times, and my dad had become friends with some of my classmates. He became friends with Wendy Brown, and I could see that was good for her. It was good for my dad too. My dad became friends with Lawrence Bonds. They bonded over hunting and fishing. It was really something for me to come home and my dad had done become friends with some of my classmates. Yeah. And he became friends with Madison Smith. He became friends with them. They were hunting and fishing also. And so I'm friends with some of my children's friends. I worked with Kevin on their class trip. And so Liz Hanley, I established a friendship with her, and that, I have worked hard to stay connected to her, from them being in high school. I got a couple friends Charles's friends that I'm friends with. Ruby Odema, she lives out in California now. Liz lives in Philadelphia, so when I do my traveling, I stop in to say hi. Shayla and I are supposed to do a trip to California in November, so I want to try to look Ruby up then.
Okay.
But yeah, the evolving of friendship, and it's just so important. And I want to touch upon, we've touched a little bit on it, but just trying what's a strong friendship? Can trust, and I just let me try to do this, keep it up on the screen. Just each one of you, if you have something you can share on trust. These are strong friendship foundation, trust. So what do you think of trust in a friendship?
Well, what comes to mind for me is, like I mentioned earlier, everyone cannot be a really good friend to you. And of course, it's very disappointing when you think that someone can, and then suddenly they do something that's like, wow, and they disappoint you. So trust to me in a friendship is a pivotal concern, because there are going to be times in all of our lives, right? Good times and bad times, and sometimes when things aren't going so well, you're going to want to reach out to someone and talk to somebody. And you're going to need that element of trust, that you can go to someone and confide in them and ask them for advice. And if you don't trust them, you're not going to make that call, right? And then on an individual basis, we want to be that kind of person that someone can reach out to. Can I be trusted, right? In terms of someone possibly calling me. So vitally important in terms of determining whether a person is truly a real friend.
Margaret, you like it?
But I look at trust. You talk about friendship, and I look at a marriage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people violate you, but that don't mean you still don't have something going on. So I guess I look at it as the same way with a friendship. Somebody is a trust where you can trust them with your whole life, but still they might do something that violates you, but that don't still mean you don't have a good friendship. Cause I look at that with my husband. Maybe I felt like I trusted him with my feeling on something, but he violated, but we still together. So it depends on how you look at trust. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I follow what you're saying. Yeah, I follow what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
It's not a turning point for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of trust as being able to share stuff with Anita or with a friend, and trusting that person to keep that, what I've said to her.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And that's my trust. I trust you, and I can say anything to you, and I know you're going to keep it. You're going to take that to the grave with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I can trust you with my house.
And I see trust like that too, from the standpoint that when you share, you don't have to be concerned that I'm going to judge you.
Mm-hmm.
That you just need someone to listen to you and not judge you. And I had to grow in that area, I think, especially with Margaret and our friendships, because we were friends for so long. And then, when we got our senior year in high school, she got a different group of friends. I had a different group of friends. And then when we came to college, we were roommates,
Mm-hmm.
but we still had some common friends, but each of us had some different friends.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so with me knowing Margaret for so long,
I think that
it was part of me, like I was raised by my father. So, I was very independent. And Margaret, was raised in a home with her mother and her father.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had to be as independent yet as I came to college.
Mm-hmm.
And so my independence, sometime maybe I was trying to be a mother to her, and I had to back off of that because it was about to end our friendship. And so that's, again, that trust factor. I want the best for my friend,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes, we have to learn the hard way. And hey, when she learns or whatever happens, I'm still going to be there by her side to support her with whatever she needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so
let me interject real quick. I'm glad you backed off, because am I right, Margaret?
But also realizing that just because people are not doing it the way you want,
right, that's what the deal is.
Doesn't mean that they are wrong or
Very
that they're
true.
doing something wrong.
That's my daughter chiming in.
Different.
We know who it is.
You do what you do, and they do what they do. It doesn't really mean that they're completely wrong. You just have different opinions, and you can't force them to do it the way you want them to do it.
Absolutely. And
you
by
know,
the way, very well spoken.
Your mother is very opinionated, and
That's why I
sometimes
said
she
that.
would judge. She would see somebody that you were relating to, and one person she was really right about, but one person I was associated with, what they didn't mean me no good, but I had to figure that out. She couldn't dictate me figuring that out in terms of the relationship I thought I wanted with somebody. And I'm going to leave it at that without going too far.
Right.
But that was where we were falling out at, because, and she probably is right, that person didn't have my better interests at heart, one of the people I was associated with, but I had to learn that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was able to get it together and back off. and she did figure it out. She did figure it out. But it was my love for her that I just didn't want anything to happen to her.
Gotcha. All right.
I understand, Anita.
All right. The next, Linda, you put your trust in. Did you? Okay. So honesty. What do you think of when you think of honesty in a friendship?
Well, I think with honesty, I don't have to worry about my friend conning me or anybody else. She's honest, upfront, straightforward. She's honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And let me add, and this is a real challenge, I think, for a lot of us. What about the situation where a person is involved in something, maybe they shouldn't be, and you are a good friend, and you need to be honest enough to go to them and let them know in love what you think. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people have a hard time doing that, and maybe they don't say anything. But I've just been in some relationships where I've had to, man to man talk to a brother, and come to him and speak. Are you sure that's what you really want to do? That kind of thing. And you have to be honest. And to me, it's mutual, right? That person needs to be able to accept that from you and vice versa. And it just takes a high level of not only honesty, but a high level of maturity to be able to handle that kind of situation.
And I'll piggyback on that honesty, because it's easy not to say anything.
It's real easy.
It's easy not to want to rock the boat.
Right.
But this is when you test that friendship,
mm-hmm.
if it's strong or not.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you something because I'm your friend. And then I've learned, I say it and move on. It may not be received at that time, but at least I know I did what I needed to do. And it may not be always right, but that's where you got the kind of friendship that you can say some things,
Yes.
Maybe you jog that person to start thinking about it, but
no question. Mm-hmm.
But to be willing to take that step, to put yourself out there, and
let me add as well. I've been in situations where it did me good to actually have the conversation in advance that, look, we're going to be friends. I'm going to tell you like it is. Okay. So if you don't like it, we're not going to be friends. I mean, that's how men talk, ladies. I'm just being up front. So I've had some relationships like that. Just get it out in the open, right up front, so that way, when you approach that person later on, they're not going to be caught off guard. They might be a little mad at you at the moment, but like, okay, I got you. So,
yeah. And Ricardo, I feel we have had some real honest conversations, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as our friendship has evolved.
Yeah, we've had some great conversations. Yeah.
And so, all right, we'll move on to equality. What do you think of when you think of equality in a friendship?
I've never dialed that into a friendship.
Me either. I'm kind of thrown off by that one.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm like, are we both equal? I mean, I never made that part of a qualification or criteria. So, what did you say thinking, Nita, when you threw out equality?
Linda, you have. I'm gonna see what Linda has to say, and then I'm gonna come back to it. Okay. And
Well,
I can understand why you're not familiar with it, but I think there are some friendships, because when I saw this, you know, I had to think about it too. But I think there's some friendship where you got one person, they think they're one subordinate to the other one.
Oh, you mean that level of equality?
Oh, well, then that's not a friendship then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That don't enter into my.
No,
stuff.
it doesn't matter if you are a CEO and I'm just a employee. If we got a friendship, we got a friendship.
But I think and it's not about maybe titles, you know, and I think maybe we haven't experienced it, so we don't know. But I do know there's friendships out there, and you can observe and see them where one thinks they are above the other person.
Okay.
Have you ever observed that in friendship?
Not me.
Not me either.
I don't look at that.
I'm more aware of what you're speaking of.
I look at that as a dynamic. Something else is going on. Okay.
But I'm just saying that they're not equal, and they don't consider themselves. They consider themselves above that other person.
That's back to it's not a friendship.
Exactly.
That's not a
Right.
true
I wouldn't develop a friendship with
you
a
more
person
you
like that.
more acquaintances.
I wouldn't develop a friendship with that person because they think they're better.
Exactly. Because
No.
because again, how does the quote unquote lesser person really feel? Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
get that.
because it sounds like one is more dominating over another.
And that's exactly exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And it's really interesting because the four of us, I guess, have not experienced that, but I have observed that. And it is like a tug of war of a friendship, you know.
Okay.
But one of them wants that friendship that they are willing to accept that.
Okay, I got you.
I'm not.
I'm not either.
Okay.
Okay, compassion.
Oh, I consider myself a very compassionate person. So but I can also be a B too. So I don't know.
Margaret, you did not say that.
Yes, I did.
Honest.
Yeah, that is honest. that is. Well, let me interject on the serious side.
Go ahead. I thought we were being serious.
I know it. That was serious. She told the truth.
Well, the way you kind of spun around and laughed, I was like, well, wait a minute. So, one thing that I have gotten better at, ladies, over the years in terms of compassion in a friendship is to make sure that I am there when my friend is in serious need, like a death of a family member or someone is extremely ill, where you need to be present. If you are a friend, you need to be the one that's calling. You need to be the one that's praying. You need to be the one that's showing the support, showing compassion for your friend. That's when they need you the most, right? So that's for me, that's where compassion comes in.
Compassion is caring.
Yes.
To me, is caring about the person.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not always be there in the presence with them.
True.
They know, because if there's some distance, you do still know that they're there. I mean, I've had experience where I was dealing with a health challenge.
Mm-hmm.
with my girlfriend over here, and she made sure I want to talk to your husband and give him instructions because somebody needs to be there to ask the questions. I'm not there, but I want to make sure he knows.
That must have been me, though.
And I call that bitch passionate. And she was not there.
I was living in California at the time.
Yes, I know, but you had some instructions.
I had to make sure he knew what to ask that doctor afterwards, you know.
Well, you did. You did.
I did. But you know, Milton could receive that for me, you know, because when they met, Margaret and I was friends, and then we roomed together. So, you know,
y'all gotta understand it, because I mean, you and Milton, I mean, y'all go, hey, she trusted Milton enough to go down here and look at this place that she was thinking about living.
yes.
We had good judgment.
When I moved back from California, I needed an apartment.
Okay.
And so I asked Milton, would he go over and check it out for me?
Okay, I got you.
That's what friends are made for.
Yeah. That worked out. That worked out.
It did.
And I with Margaret saying that, several times though, we hadn't been in contact with each other, and just the Holy Spirit brings to me that something's going on with my friend, and I've called her, and there could be some health challenges going on, and so I mean, it's like I could just sense it, you know. The Holy Spirit brought it to me, and I just called her, and then she told me what's going on and everything. So
Yes, I'm not always to open up that way.
Yeah.
But one good thing, Margaret, is whatever your conversation was, that stayed between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's trust. You know, you trusted her. She, you know, you communicated with her. She hasn't said anything to anybody about anything that you know. So that's trust.
That is trust, but I'm trying to say I'm not open about everything that I always going through. And something went off in her spirit. And it's not that's just the way. And we're the kind of reverse. She's more open, like an open book now.
Yes. And always has been. Yeah,
and I went the other direction. So
always has been.
Right? No, Ricardo, I haven't always been like that.
No, she has not.
No, really?
No.
Well, okay.
She got like that. She got older.
Okay, well, more from my
I was a very, very, very private person.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, Ricardo. I used to give you an earful why I wanted to move out of Lansing, because I just didn't like, all the dynamics that was going on. People don't know me, but my ex-husband, and you're going to talk about me. You're going to come to me and talk about me to me, and you don't even know who you're talking to, And I just couldn't stand that. I just could not stand that.
You still can't stand that.
I know that.
We went to show together, and somebody did something. I told
yeah. But that's me getting to where I can put a person in their place now.
You check that person. You don't.
I certainly did. I certainly did, because it's like enough is enough, and I've gotten to the point where I'm going to speak up for myself. Margaret maybe thought I was out of place, but I didn't feel I was out of place, because
I just knew they hit a button. And I was
hey, I bet they didn't do that again, did they?
I know that, right?
But I'm going to share the reason why I am so transparent now. When I needed God the most, that I was in a valley, a very deep valley, and my son had, got into some trouble, and he ended up in prison for 12 years, 3 months, 18 days. And so at that time, Jesus became my best friend. And in order for me to survive that ordeal, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't talk to, I had some conversations with y'all, but pretty much I went in and it was me and God to get through that. And the one thing that God said to me from the beginning of the whole ordeal is you must give your testimony and you must become transparent. And I will take you through the valley. He didn't say I'm going to get you out of the valley. I will take you through the valley and back to the mountaintop. And so I'm to this day, I am still, I feel like, hey, God, we make this agreement, this vow, I'm going to live it out till, I get my heavenly wings and I'm gone. But I had joy in the midst of my trials and tribulation. And it's because of that. And it's because of that I am so determined to have this dialogue with family and friends about aging. And so that, and Margaret, I think you mentioned it, you're not isolated because some people don't have anyone,
True.
Just don't have anyone. So I am very compassionate. I am. I mean, I can, and I had to get to a point. Sometimes you might have to turn it off because I can feel the person's pain, I can sense it. I can sense what they're going through. And so, but I was doing a whole lot of praying during the pandemic. And then God said, okay, now you got to get back out on the mission field. You got to go back out into the vineyard and work. And that's what I'm doing here. It's not just about me. It's about that I'm still giving service. I'm still carrying out what God, my assignment he has given me here. And he's granted me some additional time. And so I'm taking it serious. And I'm going to keep on until I expire to inspire before I expire. So
very well said. I like that.
The next one is independence. Now we're going to see how, because this independence and equality can, to me, tie together.
Well, is independence in your eyes accepting the person for who they are? Is that what it means?
Well, what I was thinking independence is that,
I don't have to be under you all the time.
Exactly.
We still cool.
That's my thoughts on it. That, you don't have to carry the burden that person cannot exist without you,
Yeah.
That y'all can come together and be together, but then you can go your separate ways, still be independent of each other, and nobody's going to feel slighted,
Right.
Well, that comes with maturity too. I think you don't want to be a codependent person because of a friendship.
But that's a lot of pressure on.
I don't want you to think I'm so needy, Anita, that I can make it if I don't see you every day.
And ladies, to piggyback with what you're saying, I know as a man, when I think of my better relationships that I've got with the men that are in my life as friends, it's kind of like an unwritten rule that, like for instance, you just don't want to appear weak as a man. You know what I'm saying? Like you can ask for advice, you can try to help here and there. Matter of fact, there's one person that comes to mind. You want to feel comfortable that you can go to this person and talk and engage about whatever's going on, but you don't want to feel like, wow, I might have to give this person so much money. I know they're going to ask me for money. I hope I kind of can explain this to you.
That sounds like a family member to me.
Say what, Margaret?
That sounds like a family member to me.
It sounds like a what? I didn't hear it.
A family member.
Yeah.
They think you the ATM or something.
Yeah, I got someone in my family like that.
See, that's what it is.
I guess unfortunately, I got some. I'll be like, and now I'm dodging them sometimes. Like, "God." And that is so sad, you know. And I don't want to do that. And you know what's even more sad? Even when I have conversations with them about it, you think they stop? So
They
all I'm
playing
saying
on your compassion, huh?
so all I'm saying is that one thing to me one thing I try to take pride in is, yeah, I may actually need something, but I need to be able to figure it out for myself as much as humanly possible, without feeling overbearing. You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, there's a level of self-respect that you need to carry yourself when it comes to friendships, because when people sense that you're needy, they don't want to come around you. A lot of times they just don't.
Well, if you just got your hands out, or I need you, but it's not. What about when I need you?
Exactly.
Or I'm thinking of family there, because sometimes family, we be like, it's all about them, and it don't dawn upon them like, how are you doing? You know.
Yeah, it's like an afterthought, right?
If it's a thought at all.
Yeah.
What have you done for me lately?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Linda?
I know she's gonna be kind of quiet. She's not the talkative one today, huh?
No, I'm never the talkative one.
I know that's right. You observing something.
I observe, and pretty much everything you guys said, I agree with.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up, and I always, try to be very cognizant of the time. I cannot thank you enough, and this is what true friendship is, that each one of you could see how passionate I am about this, and you were maybe willing to step outside of your comfort zone to support me in this endeavor. And I really appreciate it. And one thing that I am learning, I'll get some feedback afterwards, that this is helping someone.
Can you take the thing down so I can see?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed this interaction because I haven't seen Linda. I haven't seen
a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anita.
Yes, but I want to give a shout out to some people, and what I did today is I made this a friendship day for me, because I felt like I fell maybe by the wayside from reaching out, staying connected to friends the last couple of years. Sorry about that.
Pop back up there.
No, I have to move the cursor. So what I did today, I took it upon myself to call some friends that I hadn't talked to in a long time. Darlene Partey, there was no answer. I couldn't leave a message. Connie Murray Gaston, I spoke with her. We're going to get together soon and do lunch in Novi. NZ Bryant, I left him a message, and then we text back and forth. Now, I got to tell you this about NZ. NZ says to me he can't join this evening because he's got a friend that they were having their homegoing celebration at 5 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
And so he says to me, but I'll make yours. So I text him back and I said, don't worry. I want to be cremated and I don't want no service. I said, but you on my list for my daughter to mail you a copy of my memorial book.
Oh my goodness.
But we're friends. We're friends. And that's what you can say to friends, you know?
Yeah, I understand, but you didn't exactly sound like the Miss Golden Girl then. So.
She sounded a little bit like Dorothy.
I did it.
I know, right?
But I told him he didn't have to worry about it because ain't gonna be no service agreement. But he gonna get a booklet. And Z and I have been friends for a long time. When my father passed, and my brother and I, we needed an executor for to handle my father's affairs. I lived in California at the time, and my brother lived in Arizona. And I talked to my brother about, like, who we gonna get to do this for us. And we both agreed with NZ. Okay. And I called him. And at that point in time, I've always been a very strong person, but he saw the vulnerability in me and what I needed, and he stepped up to the plate and he did it. His business partner at the time didn't want him to do it, but he did it. He did it for us, and it was a lot of work, and he got accomplished. So what he said to me, it didn't hurt my feelings at all, because I knew what he meant from his heart, that he would be there for mine, because when my father passed, I'm living in California. I haven't seen him in a long time, but he was there. He was there. Okay. You met him, Linda, because when you came to Pontiac, because we had to get rid of my dad's dogs and everything.
Wait. We talking senior, okay? My memory ain't nothing like you.
Hey. Tell her again.
I know it. I gotta stop doing that because I do it a lot. Margaret get me too. She said.
I do know NZ though.
Yeah. And I do it to Ricardo too. I say, you remember this? You remember that?
Nope.
Senior moment.
Nope.
All right. So moving on past NZ, Barb Mathers. I had called her when I was driving back from Georgia and didn't get a response. But today she responded to me, and Barb and I met at Bible Study Fellowship. Okay. And so I was living in Lansing. It was 2011 because it was before I went to Hawaii. And so I didn't have transportation at the time. And I was trying to get the Bible Study Fellowship. And she came by, I was utilizing public transportation. And so she came by and picked me up. We met at Bible Study Fellowship, and she would pick me up every day. And, we've kept in contact. She's come a couple of times, when joined us, when we've gathered for meals. So we're going to get together. Liz Barnes, she responded to my text message. Diane McCann responded. Adrian Walker responded. Althea Van Dyke Starks. Althea responded to my text today. We text back and forth. Now, Althea, this is my 7th grade posse. Here it is. Now, see if I'm getting it right, Margaret. It was Margaret. It was Althea. It was Janice Montgomery. And it was Geraldine Fowler. And so what I tried to do before COVID, I tried to connect with the posse, 7th grade posse. And I made connection with Althea. I visited her in she was living in Antioch, Tennessee, close by Nashville. And I connected with Geraldine. She was in Fayetteville. And so I tried to connect with Janice Montgomery, and I just wasn't successful. So if anybody is hearing this, please let my 7th grade posse friend know that her golden girl friend now is looking to connect with her.
Nita, I got a quick question for you. Now you were live. You invited people. Do you know who's showing up?
No, not it. And I don't know if I will ever know, because what happens, like, even though it, I've connected this to Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and YouTube, so I can't see what's happening on the Facebook side.
Okay.
But I know on these lives, usually when I close out of them, I've got a lot more views than what I've seen people come into up here.
Okay. I was just wondering how that works.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not like Zoom. Well, was it Zoom that would give you a list of who?
Well, Zoom is where you see participants.
Right. Right.
I could go into where it has the number of participants. So I didn't know how this one worked.
Yeah. See,
Because you
right
see
now
an invite on Facebook, and some people sound like they were going to show up. So do you
right,
know?
but I just can't see that because it's more, they send it out to Facebook, but I think they're feeding on YouTube, but I'm not certain about that either. I'm learning.
Okay.
This
I'm
is
just curious.
Yeah, sure. And that's a good question, because I don't know exactly how it works, because when I close this out, I have more views than what I've seen people come in,
Okay,
So
I got you.
I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. And then I talked to Jerry Cato today. Charles Cato passed Saturday,
Mm.
and his brother. And so Googie had called and told me that Charles had passed. So I reached out to Jerry Cato yesterday, and he got back with me today. And so we had a good conversation, So and I could see this type of audience, and said it's going to be beneficial to him because he's having some health challenges right now. And so
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so I feel good about today. I really feel good. And I thank y'all for joining me to help promote an assignment that God has put on my heart to do. And that is to have engaging conversations about aging.
Well, I really have enjoyed it. So I really appreciate you inviting me.
And I just thank God I'm still here to talk about it.
I
So
know that's
Same
right.
here.
Hello, thank you for joining. Someone just came in there, and so but yes, and as I said to you, before we came live, I'm new to this process, and I need help in learning how to grow older, so I'm asking all kind of questions. Margaret, I appreciate you, giving me Chico's, to
well, that's my favorite store.
hey, and I'm this golden girl is gonna evolve into sassy Anita.
Well, there's a sale rack, Anita. That's where you need to do, and would catch that sale rack.
Okay.
And then if you start buying, they'll, like, if you spend so much, they give you $30 or this store your next purchase.
Okay.
Very
And
good.
see, that's knowledge that I need. I had reached out to Karen Snotty Walker, because I feel, shout out to Karen, that she ages youthfully.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, I'm getting ready to change the hair. I'm gonna get me a wig made, and it's gonna be black.
I know that's right.
Yeah. But thank you again, panel, and I appreciate you. For doing this for me, for supporting me, and I
Always.
not just share it. This will be out there. You can share it with your friends, with your family, because I say my channel, one of my niche is engaging the golden years and beyond, but that's beneficial for the young also, because they're going to eventually get there,
Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Absolutely.
And if you can get you some script now, what's going to happen, and start preparing, you may age a little better. You may age a little better.
Some stuff we can't, hey, because you got an ache here and you don't know where it came from.
Yeah, ache you may not know, but in say my case with my
Diabetes.
type 2 diabetic, I wish the doctor would have just came on out and said you pre-diabetic. She was talking to me about some things, and now as I reflect on it, she should have just used that term, and I think that would have got me taking a different approach,
I got you.
so that I wouldn't have gone into being a type 2 diabetic, So, but I understand, there's some ache. My aunt told me, Aunt Virginia, she said, Nita, you keep living, you're going to have some aches and pains that there's no explanation for. But I'll tell anybody, don't gain the weight. Do not. Stop it. 5 pounds, get on it. Get on it. I am so sorry I ever gained all this weight. Now I'm trying to get it off.
But Nita, you hard on yourself, really.
But hey, Margaret, I gotta be hard on myself.
But you're working on it.
Yeah, you're working on it. So
yeah, I'm down 25 pounds, but I'm just saying there was a point in my life when I gained 5 pounds, I was getting that off.
Mm-hmm.
So to the youth, and I told Shayla, don't let it happen. Get that 5 pounds off real quick, because next thing you know, the scale will not stop. You think maybe, you could plateau out, but that doesn't seem to happen. I don't know.
No, it definitely doesn't happen. Right? Well,
so I want to say, those that will be viewing this recorded video, that to like, share, and subscribe.
All right now.
Well, it's been nice seeing y'all.
Yes, very nice. Very nice seeing you, Margaret.
Yes.
And Linda.
Maybe I'll see you, because hopefully I'm gonna go to the jazz this year. So
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good seeing everybody.
Bye.
bye-bye.
All right, then. You could just leave the studio.
Leave the studio.
All right. As soon as I see you leave the studio.